Hey, what's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna react to my nigga Jimmy. History is repeating itself, but let's get into the reaction.
Question. Has there ever been a player throughout NBA history quite like Nikola Jokic? A big man that can give you a quiet 30 a night, passes the ball like he's got eyes on the back of his head, and can dominate games without getting more than 6 inches off the ground. What about Steph? There's been countless great shooters throughout the league's history, but what about a shooter who can come off of screens and
Nah,
hit shots from 30 feet out while being chased down like a criminal? I've
nah.
always wondered if players like these are truly one of ones, or if the blueprint for these players was laid out years ago. But today, I found my answer. While doing some research, I found this website called Crafted NBA. It has some of the
Like, bro, when it comes to terms of Jokic, you had like a little bit like Sabonis back in the day was a little bit like Jokic, but it's like Jokic obviously different. Then it's like when it comes to terms of Curry, you had like players like what's it called, Mark Price, who was a good shooter, but it's like Curry different with off ball movement and shit. Let's see. You also have Steve Nash. So you have like kind of like similar players, but it's like obviously they like Curry and Jokic put their own like unique spin to it, and it's like them just being them make them unique. Like Curry being majority off ball and shit and just keeps running around like it's a fucking marathon is fucking ridiculous. Then Jokic with the high level of passing, like the level of fucking Magic Johnson and shit when it comes to his like passing and his vision is wild.
advanced NBA data available today, and with this data, they have created some interesting algorithms and predictive models. One of them being their historical similarity app. Within their database is every single season by every single player who played at least 500 minutes in the NBA since 1978.
Oh, that's cool.
Choose any player, and the site will give you a complete scouting report with a bunch of stuff. Shot
Okay.
quality, free throw rate, offensive load, portability, a crafted offensive and defensive plus minus, and every other convoluted metric you can possibly conjure up.
Okay,
It
not bad.
gives every player a value for each metric based on their performance and then rates them based on where they rank compared to other players across the league. For example, Nikola Jokic is about as good as it gets when it comes to shooting efficiency, playmaking,
Yeah.
and offensive versatility.
Yeah.
Now, here's the catch. This algorithm takes all of these ratings and percentiles and compares them to their entire database to find the most similar player throughout NBA history. And
Oh,
guess
okay.
what? There was a player like Nikola Jokic in the NBA years before he came into the league, and his name was Larry Bird. But I didn't just run
Okay.
Jokic through this similarity app. I ran it for Luka and Giannis and Steph and LeBron and Durant and a lot of other players to find the most similar players of the past to our biggest stars of the present. And some of their comparisons may surprise you.
Okay, that's cool.
Today's video is and more all for your play and skills and many other greats of the past. Crafty, versatile, oversized perimeter players. For me, his doppelganger has always been Prime Harden. But what do the numbers say? Well, Crafted NBA's similarity app has the answer. And according to over a dozen advanced metrics that lay out the very specific and unique facets of Luka's game and production, he is actually most similar to a young Tracy McGrady, with a similarity
Okay.
score of 85%. Specifically, a young McGrady in 2004. Although Luka is a better passer and McGrady shot more threes relative to the league at the time, these two have striking similarities with their shot quality and offensive creation. Luka is a better rebounder, but defensively they fall within the same exact percentile of sub-average, with an offensive
Damn.
game that more than makes up for it. The next
That's
most
true.
similar players for Luka were 2005 Kobe Bryant,
Okay.
2000 Grant Hill, and 2005 Mike Bibby. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo has
So
cemented
damn
himself
near
as an
everyone with a high
all-time
usage
talent
rate,
over the last
basically.
half decade. But similar to Luka, we've seen this player before. In today's league, it's difficult to find an appropriate comparison as physically imposing and athletic bigs have seemed to become a thing of the past. So that's where we'll go to find the most similar player. And I'm sure you can guess who it is. According to the similarity app, the most similar player to Giannis is 2006
Right?
Kevin
Oh,
Garnett,
Garnett.
with a
Okay.
similarity score
When it comes
of
to
85%.
Yeah.
A phenomenal post scorer who also led the league in rebounding, was not limited to the paint but operated within it most of the time, and was one of the league's best, most versatile defenders with his length and athleticism. In fact, Giannis and Prime KG aren't just similar. They are almost identical, with offensive and defensive metrics that are almost impossible to tell apart.
That makes
KG
sense.
was a better shooter and rebounder, but every
Yeah,
other metric
much better
is virtually
shooter.
the same, from their efficiency to their offensive versatility to their passing. The next most similar players to Giannis are 1993 David Robinson, 1993 Karl Malone, and 2002 Tim Duncan. Next, I wanted to take a look at a player who might actually be a true one-of-one. Steph Curry has taken a skill set that was crafted and polished by sharpshooters that came before him and perfected it. But who before him was the closest thing to what we see from Curry today?
All right. Let me guess a few. I say Steve Nash. I say Mark Price. But those are the only two that I can think off the top of my head. Oh, Reggie Miller, because he had a go off ball movement as well and shot quality. So yeah, those are the three I picked. They might pick Ray Allen too, but
Any guesses?
I just don't want to put
Here's a hint. It's
three-point
the
shooters.
other greatest shooter of all time.
Ray Allen?
If you said Ray Allen,
Okay.
you'd be correct. But not this Ray Allen or this Ray Allen.
The Bucks.
But this one. 2001,
Bucks Ray Allen.
young, flying around the court, pull up off the dribble Ray Allen. With the highest similarity score
Yo,
yet,
that Ray Allen was filthy.
88%. Curry and a young Ray Allen expectedly share most things in
Oh
common.
damn, not Steve Nash or fucking Mark Price. They got Gilbert. Damn, they got Gilbert Arenas. That fucking Chauncey Billups. I forgot about Chauncey Billups. I'm not gonna lie.
All-time great shooting efficiency and shot quality, their
And Nick
offensive
Richmond.
portability, and their
who's
perfectly
the other guy?
average defense. Curry is a better playmaker and is capable of carrying a heavier
Dana
offensive
Boros?
load, but
Boros?
their uncanny similarities as shooters and shot creators, and even defenders, makes them the most similar players to one another. Interestingly enough, the next most similar player to Curry
Gilbert
is
surprised me, I'm not
offensive
gonna lie.
juggernaut 2007 Gilbert Arenas, followed by 1998 Dana Barros and 2003 Chauncey Billups. Next, I took a look at a player with the size.
Damn,
and
now you
skills
wanna
that
say
we
Nick
often
Richmond?
see
That's
in
fucked
all-time
up.
greats. The versatile wing that is Jason Tatum. Similar to his contemporaries of the past, Tatum can do just about everything on the court at an elite level. He can score on all three levels, he can run an offense, has great defensive instincts, has the size and athleticism to turn most defenders into a mismatch. And when I think of these traits, there's a lot of players that come to mind. But according to the similarity app, the
Danny
closest thing
Granger?
to Jason Tatum is 2010 Kevin Durant, with
Okay.
a similarity score of 83%. Looking at a young KD's metrics is almost like looking at some 2K creation with maxed out stats. Offensively, he didn't have a weakness, and his defensive metrics suggest he was fairly underrated on that side of the ball. And although not quite as staggering, Tatum's metrics paint a similar picture. A great shooter who can get to the line at will and can carry a team with his versatility and ability to create offense.
Okay.
The next most similar players to Tatum are 2007 Rashard Lewis, a
Rashard
young
Lewis was
2004
nice.
Tracy McGrady, and one of my favorite niche borderline stars of the 2000s,
Danny Granger.
2009 Danny Granger.
Yeah.
Next, I
Danny
wanted
Granger
to
was
take a
nice.
look at one of the most
He had an
polarizing
injury or
stars
something.
in the league today, and a player with a game reminiscent of
Ja
some of our
Morant.
favorites from the past.
Obviously got to be
Ja
what,
Morant.
Derrick Rose?
When I watch Ja play, I can't help but to see a lot of young Derrick Rose
Yeah.
and Russell Westbrook.
Yeah,
It's the
facts.
obvious comp. The springy, fast twitch guard who can get to the rim whenever he wants, while keeping his elite playmaking skills intact. But what do the numbers say? Well, according to the similarity app, the closest player to present-day Ja
Brandon
Morant
Roy?
is
Oh,
actually
that's my
a
guy.
young
A young who?
young Steve Francis with a similarity score of
okay.
83%. Both Morant
Steve
and
Francis
the
was a
franchise
bucket.
have
Steve
questionable
Francis
shot
was a
selection
bucket.
and are quite limited as stars in their specific role on offense. But they make up for it by being elite at that specific role, keeping defenses on their heels by getting to the line at an incredible rate despite their size. Excellent rebounders and among the best at carrying an offense and creating open looks for their teammates. Of
Okay.
all the comps I've heard for Ja Morant, a young Steve Francis maybe came up once or twice, but it's a great comparison.
Yeah.
And the numbers would agree. The next most similar players to Ja are 2002 Kobe,
Kobe's crazy.
2008 Brandon Roy, and 2010 Tyreek Evans. Now, thinking of comps for this next player has always been a tough task, since he has been truly a unicorn of a talent for the last decade and a half. And that's Kevin Durant. When he rose to stardom 15 years ago, there wasn't a single player like him.
Damn, that shit was 15 years ago? That's crazy.
There still isn't a single player quite like him. But if we are looking for size and an incredible shooting touch and elite offensive versatility, specifically akin to this older, more efficient version of Durant that we see today, then look no further than 2010
Dirk Nowitzki,
who revolutionized the power forward position with his shot-making ability and has a similarity score of 84% with Kevin Durant. And across the board, Durant and Dirk share eerily similar offensive and defensive metrics. The main differences are Durant's absurd shooting efficiency and the fact that he handles the rock a bit more than Dirk did, which leads to a higher turnover percentage. But outside of that, they're a match. Big guys who can score on all three levels at an all-time rate, possess guard-like skills to be the centerpiece of an offense while maintaining the integrity of their 7-foot frame with rebounding and switchability. The next most similar players are 2011 Paul Pierce, 1987 Kevin McHale, and 1989 Tom Chambers. And for our last player comp,
LeBron
James
James
spent his entire career getting compared to a guy who plays nothing like him. In terms of success and greatness, LeBron and Jordan are the obvious yin and yang.
Yeah.
But in terms of play style and
What? It's gonna be
metrics,
Magic?
they aren't very similar at all. One is a jack of all trades with playmaking instincts. The other is a two-way pure scorer. To find the most similar player to current-day LeBron, we have to look for size and passing in an all-around scoring package, which, according to the Similarity app,
Scotty?
is 1988 Larry Bird.
Larry Bird?
With a similarity score of 84%. Now, looking at Prime Bird's metrics, you would think I made a mistake on this graphic.
Tony Kukoc is
But I
crazy.
didn't. He was just that good. Virtually no weaknesses in his game, reaching at least the 95th percentile of all players in the league in the majority of
was
these
him.
metrics. And although current-day LeBron isn't quite on this level, a 38-year-old LeBron remains one of the league's premier do-it-all players.
Hey, I was looking at some Bird stories. Bird was a menace. As a trash talker, he was a menace, bro.
But it's their offensive bandwidth, playmaking and passing excellence, and overall malleability where both LeBron and Bird find their real value. The next most similar players to current-day LeBron are 1996 Tony Kukoc, 2001 Rasheed Wallace, and 2005
That's wild for me to
Vince
see
Carter.
Tony Kukoc, bro.
But this version of LeBron and this version of LeBron are seemingly two different kinds of players.
That is true.
So what happens if, instead of plugging older LeBron into this Similarity app, we search for the most similar players to a young LeBron? Well, our results change drastically. The most similar player to a 23-year-old LeBron is 1992 Scottie Pippen, with a similarity score of 87%.
Okay, so I was
And a
right
big
early
defender
on.
With the size of a forward, the playmaking
I don't think
skills
about
of a
Scottie
point guard,
Pippen.
and the athleticism to get to
It
the
just
rim
wasn't fitting for the
anytime and
older
put pressure on
present-day
the defense
LeBron, but
from
fit for the
anywhere on
past.
court. The next most similar players to a young LeBron are 1997
Grant Hill.
2002 Tracy McGrady, and 1992 Clyde Drexler. And that is 8 players and 9 of their most similar comps throughout NBA history, according to the numbers. Now, one of the most interesting things I discovered throughout this process is that some players of the past came up time and time again. Players like Dirk, McGrady, Grant Hill, KG were found to have a lot in common with many of the stars.
Nah, they
in
are the
today's league,
blueprint.
confirming what we've all thought for years. These guys had the tools and the skills way ahead of their time and had a play style that not only thrived in their era, but would thrive today as well. McGrady had
The versatility,
metrics similar
man.
to Luka, LeBron, Tatum, and even some other guys I ran through the app like Anthony Edwards. Dirk and KG were similar to nearly every star big I ran through the app, like Jokic, Embiid, AD, and Giannis. These guys excelled in a much different league.
Bro,
15,
the versatility
20 years
of
ago,
all four of
and
these
the
players
metrics
is
and
crazy.
Similar scores suggest they have become the blueprint for most dominant big men in today's league. A testament to the path these two paved and just how much they changed the game.
Facts.
So there it is. What do y'all think? Are these comparisons accurate, or do the metrics need some adjusting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, until next time.
No, it seemed accurate. It seemed accurate. Hey, great video from Jimmy though. Great video from Jimmy. I was right about that LeBron shit. I just wasn't right about, the present day LeBron being like, identical to Scotty. But hey, the old LeBron is definitely identical towards Scotty for sure. A versatile big who could defend, versatile forward who could defend multiple positions and also do everything else on the court: rebound, pass, score. Like, the versatility toward that point. But let me see. Dirk, Garnett, Tracy, and Grant Hill, they definitely the blueprint for modern NBA because they're all versatile at what they do, bro. Like Tracy McGrady could rebound, pass, and definitely was a extravagant scorer. Then you got Grant Hill, who also was a triple double machine. Then you got Kevin Garnett, who also was a great offensive player. Also a great mid-range shooter, and also a great defender who could guard 1 through 5. Then you got Dirk, a nice stretch big who can shoot from anywhere on the floor. Anything you need from him, he got you. He dropping a bucket for you, and he was also pretty good on the glass as well. But it's like they definitely the blueprint for the present day NBA for sure, because like they versatility on the floor is what everyone in modern NBA is looking for, bro. The versatility. But hey, fire video from Jimmy though. But like, comment, subscribe. Suggest anything else to interact to. Down below in the comments. But check out and next one.